Welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. The 3 keys to your success is just moments away. Here's your host, Brian Kelly.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind Body Business Show. Oh my goodness, we have the most amazing guest expert for you tonight. I cannot wait to dig into what some would call a controversial subject, and it's in the geek sphere, which I love because I art one. I am a geek myself, and I am going to love interviewing this young gentleman, brilliant young man. But before we bring him on, real quick, the Mind Body Business Show. In my now 54 years on this planet, 55 coming up very soon, I started studying and following only successful people. And during that time, I found that 3 patterns kept developing, what I call 3 pillars of success. And you probably guessed what those are. Mind, and that's being mindset. So when a successful person is one that develops a very powerful and positive mindset, they will stop at nothing to get the job done that they have set out to do. And little things will not knock them off track. They become very flexible. And that's a very powerful component. And we're talking at the subconscious level, not the conscious level. Some shows we get into it, some shows we don't. We may or may not tonight. It's pretty organic, and that's why I love that I get to do this show with you. Body, that's successful people take care of themselves. They take care of their bodies with nutrition and with exercise. And that goes a long way. The mind and body are a team. And I like to say the mind and body are your team, more importantly. And so when teammates are all operating at a peak level of performance, then the team as a whole, you, are operating at a peak level of performance. And then there's business. That is multifaceted. The skill sets that one should acquire, many of them are sales, marketing, team building, scaling, systematizing, leadership skills, you name it. And those that you just realize you don't have, then you outsource those skills to others who do have those skill sets. And when you have mastered all 3 of these areas, then you are operating what I like to call a peak level of performance, hence the name of my company, Reach Your Peak. And that's what this show is about. It is for you. There are recipes for success. I kid you not. It's like a recipe for baking a cake. If you follow the steps, step by step, of a successful recipe, if you just follow those steps, you have very great certainty that you too will succeed as great or even greater as the person who wrote that recipe. And I call that modeling success. You're basically copying success. And so what we're going to do with my man Dmitrii Kustov tonight is actually get some of those patterns out of him that he already has in him, because he's already a wildly successful businessman. And I cannot wait to bring him on. And along the lines of success, one of the things very important to me to impart upon you is the importance of reading, and not just any book, but the right books. And real quickly, we're going to segue over into a segment I appropriately call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by ReachYourPeakLibrary.com.
Yes, that's right. ReachYourPeakLibrary.com. You see that over here on your right side of your screen. That is a website that I developed, I kid you not, for you, the viewer, the listener, the entrepreneur looking to find ways to succeed. And you see at the top, that just tells you everything. The number one reason for the lack of success is not simply lack of reading books, but it's a lack of reading the right books. And so I went on this quest to find those right books, and I got a lot of great recommendations. I'm sure Dmitrii has some as well. We'll talk to him about books. But you'll see on here that I've compiled a list of around 40 books so far. I've read far more than this that should be on this list. But these are here for you. These are put here by someone like me that vetted these books personally. These all have had a positive impact on me, either in business or in my personal life. And that is there for you in case you haven't started reading or you're not a prolific reader. You can then go in and pick each and every book one at a time and go through it. And if you already are a very avid reader, the odds are there's going to be a book or two in there that you have not yet read that you can pull out of there as well. So that is there for you. Very, very important. reading. And by the way, please take notes during this show if you're watching live, even if you're listening on a podcast, and hopefully you're not in a car moving. Take notes. Take out a pad of paper, a pen. In other words, stay with us, stay with the show, stay with Dmitrii and I, because the magic happens, quote unquote, in the room. And it would really be a disservice to you if you were to go off and type in these resources, these URLs, and go check these things out while the show is on, because when your attention is taken away, you might miss the very one nugget that could have propelled you to the next level of success. So stick with us. And speaking of Dmitrii, you know what? I can't wait for you to meet this young gentleman, so we're going to do that right now.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there he is, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Dmitrii Kustov. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you bet. We're going to have so much fun tonight, Dmitrii. I cannot wait to dig into that wonderful, big, smart brain of yours and find out what makes a successful person such as yourself tick. Because that's what I am most interested in, is not so much the physical, mechanical things that people do to become successful, although I am still interested in them. I'm more interested in what makes them, what's their mind, what is their mindset that's getting them to that point. And what I want to do is formally introduce you by going and reading your bio. But before I do that, real quick, for everyone watching live, remember, you can win. You can enter to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. Compliments of my good buddy Jason Nast and his company, PowerTexting.com. You do not want to miss this. We give away a trip every single show. Thank you to PowerTexting.com. So stick on to the end. We'll give you the means to enter to win that, and we're going to have a great time.
Yeah, I'm going to enter myself.
Yeah, you might. You absolutely can, too. So Dmitrii, he has been declared the SEO Rockstar. Now, real quick, SEO, for those of you that may not be aware, that stands for Search Engine Optimization. We're going to get deep into that tonight. He was declared the SEO Rockstar by the American Marketing Association, and he has significantly increased the online presence of brands through custom digital marketing campaigns and innovative content marketing techniques, which SEO by itself is very innovative. You must be to succeed in that. Dmitrii is the Internet Marketing Director at Regex SEO, and his work has appeared on Moz, RankWatch, SEMrush, HackerNoon, UpCity, Business Innovator Radio, Small Biz Bonfire, and many other high-profile marketing platforms. Woo, that was amazing. Dmitrii, how are you doing this evening? Welcome to the show, my friend.
I'm doing well, and thank you for that great introduction. It's too much.
Oh, never.
Too kind of you.
Oh, no. The thing is, I want our viewers, our listeners, to learn from you, those golden nuggets. You're obviously a young man, and you've achieved success at such a young age. And I'm so intrigued that tells me you have a lot of discipline. It doesn't always mean that someone's very bright, but in your case, I'm pretty sure you are very bright, for sure. SEO is not for the weak, and I don't mean that in a mean way. One of the things I wanted to ask you, though, Dmitrii, on the mindset front is, like, when you get up in the morning, every day has its own challenges. As an entrepreneur, it's a real easy thing, right, to be an entrepreneur. Everything's just automatic every day.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, exactly. Many do, don't they? And then reality hits. And so when you get up out of bed, just like everyone else, maybe you spin around, your feet hit the floor. If you're like me, you're groggy. You're a little kind of trying to wake up. And then
very much so.
Yeah, and then you start coming to, and your awareness starts coming. You start, okay, the day's coming. What are the thoughts going through your mind, or the things that you do that motivate you, that keep that drive going, that say, yes, another day to go serve more people and help them to get the results that they deserve?
Right. Well, actually, at this point, it's fairly simple thoughts, and I'm not by myself. I'm not a solo entrepreneur. at least anymore. So what makes me get up in the morning and go to work and do things is, well, my team here at the office. We have 15 plus people and a bunch of contractors, which pretty much rely on us, on me, on what I do, so that, they can feed their own families. And of course, feeding my own family, because, we all got to eat, we all got to drink and all that stuff. Yeah.
And see, there's things I like to pick out that are very subtle to most, but I noticed you said your team before your own family. And that's often a trait of successful entrepreneurs, because you have such a serving mentality of helping others that we often think of others before we think of ourselves or even our own family. And that's rare amongst the human race, I know from experience. And but with the entrepreneurial community, those that are successful, it's amazing. It's amazing that you said it in that order, because that just shows truly what makes Dmitrii under the hood, so to speak.
All right. Well, I think the reason I say it that way is because, family is family, and they kind of don't have a choice, really. And thankfully, my wife is really great, and she stuck with me through the struggles when I started. But, team, it's pretty much second family, and they do have a choice. So if we want to keep great people here, then we have to support them. We have to give them all the goodness.
This is music to my ears, Dmitrii, because there are so many leaders and companies I've met and worked for in the past that have a completely different viewpoint of that. It's basically, you have a job, you're going to do it my way or the highway, and I don't care if you leave or not. And, it's like a taskmaster. And I love what you just said. That tells me a lot about the culture that you've developed within your company, where I would be one, if I were working in your organization, just by what you just said, I would be looking forward to coming in every day versus the other approach. And so
we surely hope so that all of our folks here are feeling the same way.
That's fantastic.
And I do agree with you that, in a lot of corporate, especially corporate environments,
yes,
it is a very hierarchical, and we tried not to be that way at all. And I used to work for and with corporations, and I have been in those situations when you kind of drag every day to work and don't want to really be there. And here we're trying to make it very happy, positive environment when we're all friends and family, rather than, I'm your boss, do this stuff.
That is fantastic. I love that. And, I am seeing a shift toward that, what you were just describing, a culture of family, of team. It's not you work for me, you work with me kind of mentality.
Right. Yeah,
and I love
absolutely.
that. And I can see, we had a brief time to talk before the show started, and I could see that you oozed that quality of team, being a team player. Look at that. You got a smile. You're a pleasant guy to be around. Most tech guys don't have, they have the, I'm sorry, but I kind of am a tech guy, but they have the personality of a rock, right? They don't move. They don't smile. They don't do anything. You at least have a personality and a good one. And it's great that you're leading your company, because you have the great character traits, in my opinion, already.
Man, you keep flattering me all the time. I'm flattered, very much so.
Oh, absolutely, and it's deserved. I mean, to have that many 15 people working with you and multiple subcontractors, that tells something right there, in and of itself. And so, speaking of, say, an entrepreneur such as yourself and those that work for a corporate job, and they don't have to be reflective of those that work with you, what do you feel is the major difference between entrepreneurs and those who work from someone else, from your perspective?
Right. So there are a lot of bright people who work for corporations or for anybody, right? They are smart. They can be self-motivated. They can be passionate about what they do. I think at the end of the day, what really differentiates an entrepreneur or a person who can survive in a business on his or her own is just, it takes guts. Because when you work for somebody else, you don't have to really worry if the company is going to go out of business tomorrow. And, you don't have to really worry about what everybody else is doing. You don't have to worry about everybody else's job or work. It's, as long as you do your own thing, as long as you are good at what you do, you would be good if you work for somebody else. When you're entrepreneur, and especially if you are starting as a solo entrepreneur, well, you kind of have to fill in many shoes. And, that takes risks, especially if you don't have any starting capital. As myself, I started with $0 towards the business. So, it's all about risk and being able to take risks and just work through it, power through it.
Another thing that stood out at me is that you did not bash employees, those that work for others. In any sense of the word, you focused on what it takes for an entrepreneurial leader to
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
The responsibility is unbelievable compared to that of a corporate employee needs to take care of themselves and their family. But within the corporate environment, really not anyone else, right? Unless they have a teammate, and if their success together depends on whether they continue employment or not, maybe, but rarely. And with an entrepreneur, the person leading it, you're right. It is like another family, because they are in a way, your children, because it is your job, your responsibility. You feel it anyway. And I love how you've owned that, Dmitrii. Where you are so
I do believe
cognizant of that.
Really all of the issues within the company, all of the unsuccesses come from the management and ownership. And it probably, if somebody who listens works for somebody else, and it's usually there is that thinking, there is that state of mind that if I bring something to my management, some kind of idea, fresh idea, no matter how cool it is, most likely they're kind of stuck in their own ways. And because of that, company is not going to grow. The good things are not going to happen. And it did happen to me myself when I was employed for somebody else. And no matter how many ideas I brought to the table, it usually did not get done. And at the same time, I have worked with other people in other companies in current business with managers who are really great at their job. And when they listen to their teammates and employees, and you can see that those companies are the companies who will succeed. So I guess that's tip number one of the day, or of today's podcast. Yeah, I love
it. Part of it is kind of giving them, in a way, part ownership. You talked about, and I don't mean literally owning a piece of the company, but ownership of their tasks, what they're responsible for. When they have ideas such as you did, you couldn't wait for them to say yes because you were ready to run with it. And when they said no or ignored it, then you felt deflated and why am I here? I'm wasting my efforts. I have a lot to offer. If only they would just listen. And when you do that and you listen and you give them freedom to be creative to some degree, as long as they're matching, the culture of your company, the values of your company, everything is in alignment, then let them go free and let them be creative. It doesn't mean you'll accept every end product that comes out, but odds are they're going to put a lot more into it. They're going to be happier. And your company as a whole is going to thrive much greater than if you did it the other old way.
Yeah. And kind of to add to all this, there is a book, I forgot who wrote it. I think it's one of the guys from Google, and it's called something like Let Your Employees Fail. And that's really great idea that, if they bring something to the table, or if they want to do something, some kind of idea, and in Google specifically, they do have a rule almost, a requirement that they have to work, the employees there have to work on their own projects and ideas at least 4 hours a week. That makes a lot of difference, because that way you don't necessarily shut down everything, every idea, even to the point that, if you're a business owner or manager, and sometimes you kind of start thinking that I'm the boss, I'm the smartest. That's not true at all. You're not the smartest, at least in most cases. And there's always somebody better, and no matter how small or insignificant the idea is from your buddy, well, let them run with it. Let them run with it for a day or two, and let them fail once in a while. It kind of bonds you with the employee, and also in some cases, great products come out of that.
Couldn't agree more. I work with apprentices, and I follow almost the exact same credo you do. And it's interesting. I don't want to be the smartest one. I mean, that would add even more responsibility, more
That's
work. And what that would effectively turn one into is a micromanager. You know, if you're the smartest, or at least you think you are, then you're going to scrutinize every decision, every creative work that ever comes out of any of the employees. And what a horrible place to work that would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, it would be stifling. It would be suffocating. You know, as an entrepreneur, we already made the statement, and you know it's true, that it's super easy to be a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah, overnight.
Overnight. And then once it happens, it gets easier as it goes. And so, I'm just kidding, completely kidding. It's the exact opposite. The more successful you become, the more issues you are left to deal with, and you have to become even more flexible. It's all about flexibility. There's so many things that go into it. And to become a successful entrepreneur takes, for most, deep sacrifice at some point in their lives. If you can recall maybe one or two of those that stick out in your mind, that maybe you had to give something up for a period of time in order to become successful, maybe at the cost of something that you held near and dear. I don't know. You don't need to get too personal, but what kind of sacrifices have you personally had to make, Dmitrii, to become a successful entrepreneur?
Sure. I don't think that it's only me. I think it's literally every entrepreneur. But the main thing, there are few things which everybody who wants to be entrepreneur or is thinking about starting the business will deal with. And that has been very much true for me, is sacrifices in, first of all, just time, right? When you start the business as a solo, or not really any business, especially when you have some investors and all that, it gives you even more responsibility, because that's not just your head on the chopping block, just time. And that, because you have to work quite a bit, there are certain things which you can do. For example, you can be enough or long enough with your family. I have started, when I started Regex SEO, it was 16 plus hour work days for a year and a half, right? So my wife did not see me for much, and that's 7 days a week. It's not, 5 days a week. And so that's one of the biggest things. And another one, which is fairly common and makes a lot of sense, is just financial struggle, right? In the beginning, before you have a good pool of clients, before you're established, before you start making good amount of money, you're going to make no money. And unfortunately, that's how most of the entrepreneurship works. You have to work through it. You have to power through it. And those things are probably the top things which you would have to be dealing with, which I have dealt with. Yeah.
My goodness. Are you a man or a machine? 16 hours a day? That's awesome.
Pretty much. Yeah. And actually, kind of not funny story, but basically I would come home literally just to sleep, kind of thing, right? And thankfully, my office and my wife's office, they were across the road from each other. So we would drive together. So that was our bonding of the day, driving to work and driving back from work, which was 20 or so minutes a day, one way. So thankfully I have a great wife, and she supported me throughout this whole journey. That's
wonderful. That's twice you've mentioned your wife. I love that, because my wife is equally as awesome. I have to say more just because. No, you know what? Women are amazing, period, end of story. I don't know how they do what they do. I don't know how they put up with people like you and I, because they're built differently. They can take on more pain. They're more flexible. They're just awesome. And men, we would be nowhere without them, in my opinion. They say behind every successful man is a
woman.
Yeah,
that's right.
A powerful.
Yeah, and to add to this, there is a saying which is very well known, that if a like a husband is in the army, then the whole family is in the army.
Yeah.
So there's my take on that is if a husband is entrepreneur, then the whole family is in that business too.
That's awesome.
And that's so true.
That is awesome. I've never heard that before. That is so perfectly true. It is.
Tip number 2 of the day, of the night.
Yes. Yeah. Golden nugget number 2. At the end, there'll be a quiz. Whoever gets all the questions right, get that vacation. I'm kidding. It's going to be a random drawing. Having fun. We like to have fun too, don't we, Dmitrii? Even though we're all serious and we got to get business taken care of. But 16 hours a day I just want to really hit on that for those watching and listening that think that, how many times has a shiny ball come across and said, hey, if you just hire me, I'll do your Facebook ads and you'll start earning 20 grand a month the first month.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're nodding like, yeah, right. And that's what happens. It doesn't happen. That's the problem. You have to be willing to do, let's just put it that way, something similar to what Dmitrii just laid out for you. 16 hours a day, 7 days a week, no days off, for 1.5 years. Some get there later, some get there sooner, but the work, it takes work, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you thinking, I'm just going to join a network marketing company and find clones of myself and I will just sit back and bring in the residuals. It doesn't work that way. It takes effort. And the cool thing is, though, the good news is we get to model someone like Dmitrii. We're going to dig in deeper about what makes his business tick. In fact, the very next question I have for you, Dmitrii, is right down that alley, and it's one I'm so often curious about, and that is the area surrounding marketing. Because marketing is truly the lifeblood of every business. Without it, you have no business. And marketing is so multifaceted. There are so many ways to market. And for me, it's like, well, what do the successful entrepreneurs turn to when they need to market something successful? So with you, maybe you have a success story based on a certain marketing campaign or approach that comes to mind. How do you go about marketing your business, Regex SEO, and what has been your most successful form of marketing to date?
Right. Okay. So every business is different. I want to lay that out and lay that out there and be very clear about that. So there is no one single recipe which will work for everything, for every business, every guy. Now, there are certain things which we do and really most of the businesses should be doing. And of course, we are an internet marketing company. So we do most of our things are internet marketing channels. And really what we do is it's every channel available. And you should be doing that as well. From SEO to social media, to email marketing, to content marketing, video marketing, referrals, and every kind of little thing, paid ads even on social media and on Google and search engines. All that, if you have money, if you have budget, you should be doing. Now, we do everything for ourselves as well. And the way we decide and the way you should decide if one thing is better for you or if it works for you well or if it doesn't work for you, you should be tracking everything and then just basically analyzing the results, the performance, right? So that's how we go about our things. We try everything. We try every single trick in the book, and we just see what brings the best results. In terms of what has worked best for us, it would be SEO hands down. Now, again, SEO is search engine optimization, and that's the things you do to come up in search engine if somebody searches for your product. So in our case, if somebody searches for SEO Houston, we would come up on the first page for local clients or potential clients. And before the show, we actually talked with Brian, and there was this kind of like, is this still working? Is it still good thing, right? And the whole idea, I think, the whole negative impact of SEO industry came back from 5-10 years ago when most of the SEO was like a snake oil, right? It was, a guy who kind of would rip you off And nowadays, the industry is much, much more serious. And so to give you an example, or I guess to kind of continue this train of thought, it's a long-term investment. And thankfully, I have been trained. I have started my marketing career as an SEO guy, as a technical SEO guy. And when I started the company, opened my own business, then it helped for sure, because I could do all those things myself without hiring somebody or without paying anybody. But it takes time. It took me about a year and a half to 2 years to get on the first page for related keywords in Houston. And for that year and a half, for that or so, the leads were self-generated or referrals or word of mouth. And that's why that financial struggle took place. And that's why many businesses do not survive first 2 years. That's kind of like a very well-known statistic that I think 80% of fresh businesses do not survive first 2 years. And that's why, just if you don't have a way to generate those leads, then how are you going to survive? And so the SEO is a long-term strategy. And right now, we've been in business almost 4 years. It's kind of self-generating thing. So it takes way less effort to keep us there, and the ROI, return on investment, is much greater. And I would say that's the most successful thing for us. Again, I want to reiterate that it's not necessarily going to be the most successful thing for you, my dear listener.
I appreciate that, and that shows your integrity and character shining through. And that's the thing. We were talking right before the show, and I asked Dmitrii. I'm sure he's heard this many times, but SEO is like a dying breed in the eyes of those who are not in the know. And that's why I'm so excited to have you on, Dmitrii, is to kind of dispel that myth. And the other question I had for you, you said it's a long-term, and I get that. Even Facebook ads can be long-term, more long-term than people have. They think the ad's going to go up and tomorrow the leads just start flying in, but it takes time for it to do its thing. With SEO, and you probably deal with so many different wide and varied businesses, what would be a good average or kind of marker to say, well, after about 30 days or 60 days or something, you should start seeing getting up on page 10, 5, 2, 1, whatever that is. What is it for you and your company? What have you noticed?
Okay, so that question is being asked all the time, right? Potential client comes in, they ask, hey, when can I get on the first page, or when can I see results? Now, as any long-term investment, the way you should approach this, if you're hiring somebody, is you would not be on the first page tomorrow. But there are certain steps which you can kind of monitor, and your SEO company really should be providing that for you in reports and just meetings and all that. And those things are just improvements. So, for example, if you Google whatever product if you sell shoes, right, and you are in, Washington, D.C. So if you Google shoe store in Washington, D.C., and that's your business, and you do not see yourself anywhere, not on first 10 pages, well, then at that point, if SEO company does its thing, then you should see results fairly quickly. To get you on first 10 pages of Google, that's very quick. It takes barely any effort if you know what you're doing. So you can see that within a week, right? Now, to get from 10th page to, let's say, 8th page, that's going to go a bit longer. And that's how SEO works. It gets harder and harder and harder to get to the first page. So it's kind of like exponential curve. And the amount of effort versus the amount of result is growing over time. So it's much easier to get, again, from page 10 to page 3 than from page, or even from number 9 on the first page to number 8. All right. So that's how you can kind of see the progression. Now, one of the things which many people forget about is that SEO, search engine optimization, is not only about rankings. And that's one of the biggest myths, I guess. Or the myth is that I have to only look at the rankings. And unfortunately, many business owners, that's all they look at. And SEO companies, not very good ones, that's all they sell. Hey, we can get you on page 1 for 5 keywords. Well, what keywords are those? Are those keywords actually going to be bringing me any web visits to my website? Are they going to be good visits? Right. So I can make you rank for like a super long phrase probably tomorrow, but is that going to be any beneficial to you? You know, if you type in something like green plant sitting in a white pot in the corner of the office, would you want to rank for that? No, right? Your product is something kind of like a short phrase, how people would search for that. And that's what takes longest. So besides the rankings, there are certain things which you should think about and monitor. That's web visits. Is that organic search optimization? Is that bringing traffic? It's increasingly more traffic, web visits to your website. And there's certain other things, phone calls, obviously, like form submissions, all those things as well. And so the way we tell it to our clients is that when you're not going to be ranking on the first page tomorrow, we usually say, and it depends on many things, but at least 6 months to a year. That's about how it takes to see real progress in terms of, real results. The progress is always there from day one. And we basically show on a monthly basis or on bi-weekly basis, whatever the agreement is, that there's progress, that there are things happening, that you're moving up. Web visits, phone calls, rankings.
Wow. Thank you for that very detailed response, because that helps so much, especially those that aren't familiar with this science. I call it a science. It's because it's ever evolving.
And I also would like to address the notion which you kind of mentioned, that search engine optimization SEO is a dying breed. Yeah. And actually, I had a recent interview with another show who were asking me that specific question, like, why is SEO still here, and why is it here to stay? And the easiest answer is like this: when you yourself, my dear listener or viewer, are thinking about researching anything, where do you go? Do you call your grandpa? Hey, grandpa, let me answer me this, right? No, you just pull up your phone or desktop or whatever, notebook, laptop, and type in your query in Google. Well, if you are doing that about somebody else's product, why would everybody else not be doing the same thing about your product? That's just as simple as that. And the statistics don't lie either. As far as I remember, it's 3.7 billion searches. Is it a year or a day? It's probably a year on Google. Yeah, so that's a lot of searches.
Absolutely.
And the portion of those searches is about your product, about what your business does. So yeah, it's actually not. It becomes easier and easier to do that, right? All those Alexas and
yes,
all those. So now we don't have to even type; we can just talk.
Yeah, it's like when my wife and I are just having casual conversation, and one of us asks the other a question, and the other doesn't know it. Our response is, Google it.
Google it. Yeah, exactly, exactly, right. That tells you a lot already. It became a household word.
Exactly.
It's a verb nowadays, not a company name.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah. You don't say Microsoft it, right? You say Google it.
That's right. They don't even say Facebook it. Say
Google
it.
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. Fantastic. And I really wanted to, and you're doing it, I really wanted to bring out what search engine optimization is in more layman's terms, and you're doing it just that. I'm curious, once they get the result they're looking for, your client, they get to say page 1 or even page 2, whatever that result is that they know they can reach, and you've got that for them. Is it difficult to maintain that position once it's there, or does the effort level even out, or does it get less? How does that work from that point forward?
It evens out.
Okay.
Right. So think of a standard big corporation or company or anything like that. So Coca-Cola, right? In the beginning, they probably had to fight a lot. But then after they are on a certain level, they have their competitors, which they kind of fight against, top 2, top 3. But the efforts, you're not investing more and more unless your competitors invest in more and more. And that's another thing which people always forget, is that any marketing, not just SEO, any marketing is always relative to your competition. If there is a lot of competition and they have deep pockets, it's going to be much harder to achieve really good results, or it's going to be much harder and therefore it's going to cost more money, right? Because somebody has to do more and more work. And a lot of people forget about that. If you have some kind of small boutique shop and you're doing, I don't know, some kind of custom alligator skin cup things, I don't know, right? Nobody else is doing, well, it's going to be very easy for you to get to the first page to market it because there is no competition. But then all of a sudden, if you decide, I want to create like a running shoes tomorrow, and I'm going to be on the page 1 the day after tomorrow, well, you have to think about Nike and Reebok and all those guys who are investing millions of dollars from whenever they were established. All right, so now you have to think about how much they're spending, and therefore, if they are the top guys, for you to overcome them, you have to overspend more than them, and you have to invest even more effort than they are. And still, it's going to take time. It's not pay-to-play thing.
Fantastic. And, I'm thinking about this from the small business entrepreneur perspective, where if I'm on page 1, even at the bottom, I'm one happy camper. If there's a Nike or a Microsoft or somebody that's beating me out, more power to them, God bless them. But guess what? I'm there right with them in the same page. Right. I personally would be doing backflips of joy knowing that I'm on page 1, and I'd be happy with that and know that. And it all comes down to ROI for each business owner. Like, well, what's the ROI? If I add more to my spend, will that launching me above someone that's my competitor actually give me back more than what I just spent an extra amount of money? So they all go through that. You might venture off to something else, which you also do. You're a digital agency, correct?
Yes.
What else besides search engine optimization do you also do for your clients?
Right. So we are a full stack internet marketing agency, meaning that every type of internet marketing there is, and I mentioned it just a couple of minutes earlier, from SEO to social media ads, social media management, to PPC or pay-per-click, which is those pesky ads when you search on Google or anywhere else, or if you go to Amazon and then all of a sudden the product you looked at starts following you all over the internet. Well, we do that too. And email marketing when you have like subscribers or something like that. And let's see, what else is there?
Video.
I'm sorry?
Video marketing.
Yeah, video marketing, content marketing, basically anything, any way you can market on the internet, we do that. And by the way, which is another big point, which I kind of keep forgetting to talk about, and many people keep forgetting about it, is that it all starts with the website, right? So we do web design, we do web development, and because otherwise, if you market whatever you want to market, if users can't go to your website, or it looks ugly, or it doesn't work on phones, or just not a good website, it's not going to matter. You can put $1 million in it in marketing, but if it can't convert, if it can't convert those web visitors into callers, into store walk-ins, into form submissioners, it's just not going to work. It's not going to make any sense. Yeah, so we do all that.
And fantastic. And the reason I brought that up is I didn't want viewers to think, well, when SEO, I get on page 1 and then someone beats me out and I don't have the money to beat them out, then I'm high and dry. Well, no, because Dmitrii and his team can now offer suggestions on other marketing avenues and platforms that could still be within your budget that will get you the ROI you're looking for. I'm the same opinion, Dmitrii, that you should hit every possible marketing platform you can possibly afford or do on your own, either way. But very few people can do all of them on their own. If they can, I want to know who that is, because I'll hire them. And actually, it's your company, really. It's not one person. Oh, that's what I was going to ask you about SEO. What would you say to someone who is considering going down the path of becoming an SEO expert and doing all of it by themselves? What would you say to that person if you were to mentor them right now?
I mean, if you're interested, if you have passion about it, go for it, right? It's going to take time, for sure. You can't do anything, you can't learn anything within a day. And it depends on kind of like what you like and what you dislike. I'm a tech guy. I'm a programmer by education, or by trade, I guess. So that was fairly close to me. And I learned it fairly quick. And fun story, the company I officially started working with as an SEO, initially they had the ad for developer. So it was a PHP developer, and I am a PHP developer. So I went there, and the owner was like, well, we don't really need a PHP developer, we need an SEO guy. So here's a month, learn SEO, or we're gonna fire you. So a month later, I was pretty much running the whole SEO department, and 6 months later, I was running a marketing department at that place. So yeah, if you're motivated, if you are interested enough, you can do it. Of course, that's all you have to be doing, because otherwise you kind of get torn into different directions, and you're gonna get a little bit good at a ton of things instead of really good at one thing. But it's possible. Anybody can learn, I guess. It's just going to take time and effort.
What a refreshing answer. I totally expected you to say, run the other way as fast as you can. Don't do it, because 16 hours a day for a year and a half, 7 days a week, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. And you just said, oh, if you want to do it, if you're passionate, anybody can do it.
Right. Yeah, it's as anything else. You want to become fluent in, I don't know, French or Japanese or Chinese, right? One of the, or Russian. I'm from Russia. If you want to become proficient in speaking any language, you can do it. It's just going to take time. And if you just learn half a word a day, it's going to take you a long time, but you can do it.
I love it. What a great attitude you have. And that's why I believe, that's one of the biggest reasons I believe you are successful, and that you have a thriving company with a great culture. You're just so refreshing to talk to. We opened the show, or I opened the show, talking about patterns or pillars of success. And there, in my opinion, I think there are patterns or formulas to become successful. What is your opinion? Do you think that there is some pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur? And if there is one, how does one find it?
Yes, there is a formula, and it's actually very, very easy. It takes only 3 ingredients: blood, sweat, and tears.
I love it.
Well, and that has a point to that. But for real, the real answer, and it does take blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of it. But the real answer is actually not that much different and not that difficult. It's just persistence, because again, to survive in the business when you start, or not even start, when you're already in a business for some years, it takes persistence, right? You have to be doing right things for a long time, and if it doesn't necessarily bring the money, or if it brings troubles, you have to go through it and just power through it. So persistence. Number 2 is just passion. You have to be liking what you do. Otherwise, every day it's going to be very miserable for you. And well, really, number 3, as self-promotional as it sounds, sorry, we have some cleaning guys running around. The third thing is just, well, marketing, right? I know it kind of sounds self-promotional, but no matter how good you are, no matter how good your product is, no matter how passionate or consistent, persistent, whatever you are, if nobody knows about you or your product, well, how are they going to buy it? How are they going to hire you? So, yeah, marketing, spreading the word. It doesn't have to be internet marketing right off the bat. It can be just, I don't know, going to your friends or shouting from the rooftops or whatever you want to do. But it's marketing. It's spreading the word, spreading the news that, hey, I'm here. My product is great. I'm great. Come work with me.
I love that you said that. I was just speaking with a friend of mine who's in the radio and television network industry. We were just having this very discussion about, I've gone to many seminars and workshops, and typically the experts on stage will tell you all about the artistry of copywriting on your webpage, the colors to use, the price numbers to use, down to the psychological, gnat. And they would tell you to split test and, get graphics done from here and do this that way, do your layout this way, use parallax, use this, use that. Not one of them, not a single one of them, though, could get up there and tell you that, well, but you have all this. If you don't have traffic, it's worthless. So let's back up and let me tell you the secret to getting consistent and good quality traffic as well. And that's something that had been missing for years, and now everyone just goes straight to Facebook ads, and that's all. You don't hear hardly anything else anymore. You're refreshing to reintroduce all of the forms of marketing that so many have. Some will concentrate on one and only one: YouTube marketing, or Facebook ads, or email marketing. There's others, content marketing, writing blogs, trying to get, but that's just SEO, right? Because no one's going to see it unless SEO picks it up. I don't know how else they would do that. So I love the fact that you've covered the entire genre, the whole landscape, if you will, of different types of marketing platforms that can be done from the internet. And that's what I love, because I'm a geek. I said that in the beginning. It's one geek to another, an old one to a young one. It's passing the baton. I never had a baton to pass. You have the biggest baton, and you're an awesome guy. There's no doubt. Very, very accomplished, successful. You have a great team, and that's because of the leader. I will be straight up blunt about that. You are the man. And
thanks.
Yeah, and so whenever you need to give a pep talk to your team, if you ever need that, just replay this video, and then they'll know someone else thinks that you're that awesome. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you could do that, and in fact, maybe play it to them all, just to kind of give them a what you guys are doing as a company is phenomenal, and I applaud you for bringing SEO to the front, because it's and the fact that you're so upfront about it's going to take time. That's what I love, your honesty, authenticity. Because everyone wants instant gratification, a quick fix.
Yeah, and it does take team as well, which I can't repeat often enough. You can't do everything by yourself, and we have a great team here. I have 2 more business partners, and everybody is good at their job, and it's collective effort. And so it's not just me. So stop flattering me.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying you're doing everything, but you are the leader. You are the founder. You're the one that started this whole movement. And a reflection of a company is often the reflection of the leader, quite often. And so I'm not going to stop flattering you no matter what you say. It's just telling the truth. That's all. So actually, my gosh, I can't believe this. We're nearing our 1 hour, Dmitrii. It happens every single time. There is one beautiful question that I love to leave the show with every single show. It's so cool. It's amazing, and you don't even know what that question's going to be. There are several that I've thrown your way. You had no idea. It's pretty organic. But before we ask that question, you know what? I promised the viewers something, didn't I? And there's actually 2 things. there's two things. First, you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in Mexico. And then Dmitrii has something amazing. A little bug told me a little earlier that he would like to offer all of you as well. So first, let's jump into that wonderful vacation stay. How can you enter? Well, let me tell you how. If you're watching your screen right now, is take out your cell phones. You now have our permission to look away from the screen for a moment, pull out your phone, and punch in the phone number of 661-535-1624. Once you've done that, in the message area, type in the word peak, that's P-E-A-K, and tap that send icon. Go ahead and do that right now. Again, 661-535-1624, and then enter the word peak, P-E-A-K, and tap send, and you will be officially entered. We will notify you by text. And again, this is sponsored, not only sponsored by powertexting.com, but this technology you are using to enter is powered by that very company. And my buddy Jason Nast and Rhonda, partners at powertexting.com, have put together a phenomenal resource. I recommend all entrepreneurs use this same vehicle. So back to the man of the hour, Dmitrii. You know what? Let's ask the question first so you can kind of shake the rust off and say, okay, I'm done with that. Finally, I don't have to sweat anymore because I have no idea what Brian's going to ask me. I'm getting nervous. No, not Dmitrii. It's Cool Hand Luke over there. The thing is, it's a defining question, Dmitrii, and I've asked every past guest the same question. And what I found very interesting is no two people yet have answered this the same exact way. It's amazing. So what I'm saying is there is no such thing as a wrong answer. And thank you for those likes and loves, everyone. There is no such thing as a wrong answer. In fact, the only correct answer is yours because it's unique to you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that just takes all the pressure off if there was any to begin with, which I know there wasn't. So, Dmitrii, are you ready?
Sure. Hit me up.
Dmitrii Kustov, how do you define success?
Okay. I think that, and I truly believe that, success is a very, very much, it's an individualistic trait or metric, right? Meaning that success means completely different things to different people, to everybody, right? There are people who are making $24,000 a year and they live in a 500 square foot apartment and they're happy, right? Because that's what success means for them. That's what their goal was or is. And really success by definition is achieving the goal. So it really means achieving the goal. And there are people, millionaires, billionaires, who are saying, I'm not successful yet, right? I'm not fulfilled my destiny, or I did not reach my goal. So to me, personally, success is when I feel happy and I can put food on the table and have a roof over my head, over my family's head, and that's really all that is for me. So as long as those simple things really are ticked off, then that's what success means for me.
I love it, and as unique as you are, it is another yet unique answer, and it's phenomenal because for you, notice everyone watching and listening that it had nothing to do, his answer had nothing to do with money. And it's interesting that that's been the case throughout. It's amazing. Those that are not entrepreneurial mindset often will go to the money because there's a scarcity mindset going on there. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. And I appreciate that answer, and I appreciate you giving it that kind of merit. And I love how you started by saying it means something to each individual on an individual basis, and it's so true. Yeah. I have proof of many shows of in the past where each and every person has a different idea of what success is to them.
Right.
And that's why
Absolutely.
the only correct answer was yours.
Right. And really what I would like to also kind of emphasize is that if somebody has defined the success, do not ever take their definition of success for yourself, right? Because nowadays, especially, there's so much depression and kind of like unhappiness in the world, especially in the world of business. Oh, we did not make $1 million this quarter or this year or whatever it is. Well, but I mean, how do you measure that? Is that your metric, or is it because your buddy told you got to make $1 million, right? So it just common sense to me, I guess. But, as I said, different people think different things.
Absolutely. Very well stated. And there is another giveaway we have for everyone. Compliments of the handsome young guy over here next to me. Dmitrii, if you don't mind, I'm going to just pull up your website and put your handsome face next to it, and you can describe the beautiful gift you are about to impart upon our viewers and listeners.
All right. So what we offer for listeners of this podcast, viewers, a free marketing strategy, either audit, if you have one in place, if you have a business, or if you don't have a marketing strategy yet, as of yet, then we can develop it for you. Now, it might sound simple, but it's actually not. It takes about a week for at least 3 people in office to properly develop a marketing strategy, marketing campaign, as in how to progress from where you're at now to the next level. So what we are doing now is basically offering that for free. The whole marketing strategy, which will include not just SEO, it will include every single marketing channel appropriate for your business. Did you listen? Appropriate for your business, right? So in order to get that, it's actually very simple, nothing special. Go to our website, regexseo.com, and either call the number the on the website, or fill out a contact form on the website and just mention that you heard this offer on Brian Kelly's podcast. That's all I have to do.
My goodness, I had no idea that was coming. I honestly didn't know that that's what you were offering. That is unbelievable, Dmitrii. What a incredible, oh my gosh. I'm going to fill that form out. I'm going to call that number because...
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting goosebumps because what an unbelievable gift that you are offering. So the means to get to it, once again, I'll repeat it for everyone that's watching and perhaps listening, is you can either call this number. It's 832-422-8063. Mention that you saw Dmitrii on this show, the Mind Body Business Show, or go to the website, and that's Regex SEO, and I'll spell that for you. It's REGEXSEO.com. Either way, and then click on the Contact Us link. Here, I'll demonstrate that real quick. If you click on the Contact Us link, you'll see that. And then just go through, fill out the form, and my goodness, Dmitrii, are you kidding me?
No.
A week and 3 people for free?
Pretty much.
That is, I can't, I usually don't, this never happens to me, but I have no words. Yeah. You've got me silenced. That was awesome. Thank you. That is an amazing, absolutely. So please, in all seriousness, everyone watching and listening, take advantage of this. I mean, honestly, and you know that Dmitrii and his team can only take on so many of you, and I don't know what he's going to cap it at, but at some point he's going to have to say no, and just know that. So if you are someone who knows you need a strategy to be developed, or you have one and you want a consultation or something to refine it and see, right. He just said every one of those marketing platforms. I mean, please understand the value of this. It is huge. I mean, video marketing, email marketing, social media marketing, SEO, Google search marketing, all of it. They're going to do a full comprehensive 1 week. He's going to employ 3 of his people for you for nothing. Holy smokes.
It's the value. The value is we do it for about $5,000 typically.
Okay, I was going to ask you that too. So thank you, $5,000, And so I think it would be a good thing for us, and it's up to you, but do you want to put a time frame or time limit on this offer? Because this show will be recorded and others will hear it and see it far, far into the future.
Right. Yeah. So it's not forever, that's for sure. You can always reach out and talk to us, but the actual offer till next Friday. So whatever the date comes up, that's let's see. That's going to be August the 2nd.
Sweet. August the 2nd, 2019.
Correct. Yes.
Wow, what an amazing gift. I cannot. I'm blown away. I'm blown away. Dmitrii, what is the best way for people to contact you directly? Is it through your website, your Facebook? What do you prefer?
Contact me directly. It's going to be either on Twitter or LinkedIn. My username or handle is Digital Spaceman. So as you probably have seen, if you're watching, our brand is very space related. We are in Houston after all, NASA and all that stuff. At the same time, all the marketing, it's about achieving new heights, right? Exploring new horizons. So our brand is all about space. So Digital Spaceman.
And no underscore dash, just all together.
No
correct?
underscore, no dashes, one word, Digital Spaceman.
And if you're on LinkedIn, go to Dmitrii Kustov.
Well, they do have usernames nowadays too.
Oh.
So all you do is linkedin.com/I or /N /Digital Spaceman.
Cool. Awesome. Wow, Dmitrii, you really raised the bar. You did a phenomenal job for our viewers and listeners. The value was through the roof. I know I had fun, and that's all that matters, right? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I know that our viewers had a good time. Oh, thank you. Jason Nass just typed in Digital Spaceman at Digital Spaceman on Twitter and LinkedIn. Thank you, Jason. Jason, again, is the founder of PowerTexting.com, and he's watching right now. That's how great a sponsor he is and a friend. He's actually a personal friend of mine as well, dear friend. So we've gone over a little bit, but that's okay because this is not a traditional station. And so are you good to go another hour, Dmitrii?
I'm good. I'm game. Let's do it. Let's do part 2.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm fine with doing it every week if you want to.
You know, in all seriousness, I would love to have you back to do, to concentrate on the other platforms and do more digging into those to give people some tips and tricks that they could try on their own. Again, knowing there's no one person that can do all of those, that they really need your help and your business, but that shows them and gives them that feeling of confidence knowing that you guys know what you're doing, and that will just do nothing but good things for you and your company. But please do take advantage of this offer. My goodness, regexseo.com. Click on Contact Us, mention Mind Body Business Show, and say, I want that free marketing strategy, audit, and consultation that you're offering. 1 week, right. 3 people working on it for you for free. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And the audit doesn't have to be of entire marketing strategy, right? So for example, if you have another SEO company working for you and you're not very happy with their results, or if you have somebody doing Facebook ads for you, whatever it is, we can basically do the audit and tell you if they're doing a good job, if they're not doing a good job. You don't have to employ us. There is no strings attached or anything like that. And we just tell you the truth. If they're awesome, hey, good for you.
I love it. Listen to this guy. I mean, how many Dmitries are there out in the world right now? There are not enough of you. I would say that.
Me. It's only me. The only one.
That's right.
Unique.
You are. You're very unique and in a great way, and I appreciate you. I so appreciate you for coming on and spending this hour with us and giving this intense value, because, again, this show will be available to all for many years to come, and many will reap the rewards of listening to your wisdom. So I appreciate you, Dmitrii, once again.
All right. Thank you for having me. Absolutely. It was a pleasure.
You're very welcome. All right. To every one of you that's been watching, and yes, thank you, Jason Nessis. Thank you, Dmitrii. Great info. Coming from him, that means a lot as well, because he's quite the entrepreneur in his own right. Very successful as well. That is it. That is our show for tonight. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening. Dmitrii, once again, thank you so much. For everyone out there, we will see you again very, very soon. So just keep watching your email and text. If you haven't, go to themindbodybusinessshow.com, themindbodybusinessshow.com, and opt in at the very bottom of the page, and you will get an automated notification the next time we go live with the link. Really super simple. You just click and you're there and you're watching again. We'll see you next time. Be blessed, everyone, and have a great, great evening. So long now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching and listening. This has been the Mind Body Business Show with Brian Kelly.